Hey there, synth drones. Today we're going to talk about stop listening to others so much. Hi, I'm Pure Ambient Drone, and this is my channel where I talk about synthesizers. If you haven't already done so, hit the subscribe button and tap that bell to keep up with all of my synth adventures on this here vlog. Well, I'm out and about, and I'm feeling a little bit better than I was the other day, but yeah, my throat is still a little blah. Getting over a cold, but you know, sometimes it takes a while to get over these things, even though I'm using all these different home remedies. I want to talk about how we should stop listening to others so much. It's come to my attention long ago that everyone's a critic, okay? And no matter what we try to do to impress others and win the approval of other people, some people are just never happy with us. They always want to find something negative, and that's fine. I mean, you know, that's the way they want to be wired. That's the way they want to think. There's nothing we can do about that. But there is something that we can do about ourselves. I like to tell people that when it comes to yourself, you're the only person who can make the changes that need to be made. Other people can influence changes. Circumstances can influence changes, but ultimately it comes right down to the individual. And what I mean by that is that I have witnessed, and I'm sure you have too, people going through tough times. And on one hand, it can humble one person, yet make another person far worse off than they were before their trouble started. So sometimes troubles help people by humbling them and getting them to reflect back onto themselves as to the changes that need to be made in life. And whereas the same type of trouble with a different person can do the exact opposite effect, it can make them it could enhance their negative qualities, if you will. So what I want to talk about today is changing yourself, but just being careful about listening to other people, especially when it comes to your synthesizers, the kind of music that you want to make. My wife is very supportive. In fact, sometimes I like to joke and say she's a little bit too supportive, because anytime I even so much as mention or look at a synthesizer, she wants me to go off and buy it. She wants me to be happy. She wants me to have the things that I would like to have. And that's great, but restraint is important as well, right? And so sometimes she's a little overzealous. But one of the things that my wife doesn't like is my type of music. She is nowhere near a fan of electronica music in any way, shape, or form. It doesn't matter who the artist is. And so I actually use that to my advantage, because I know the angle that she's coming at. So what I do is I run my tracks past her, and I watch her body language, because I know her, right? Okay, she's my wife, and we've been together for a very long time, and I know her body language. And when something really sucks, I can see it in her face, and she won't tell me, okay? She's going to compliment no matter what I do. But when something sounds really good, and remember now, she doesn't like electronica music, but when something catches her attention, I know that I'm on the right track. Then there's people that I've learned to stay away from, that no matter what I let them listen to, they're going to start just tearing it apart, because they're natural born critics, I call them. And in the beginning, okay, of my synth adventures, I was taking a lot of what these people had to say and trying to conform myself to that perspective. Now, I'm coming to a point with all of this, and this is what I want to say. Take criticism with a huge grain of salt. Take it and don't really digest it, but kind of slush it around a little bit, and then spit it back out and take away from it what needs to be taken away from. If somebody comes up and says, your music just sucks, man, it just sucks, that is something that you probably don't want to be taking into your psyche. you don't want to retain that. You don't want to get that too deep into your soul. It's going to haunt you. However, if somebody listens to your tracks and says, I think the drums are too loud, I think that the cymbals are too ear-piercing, if there is something that needs to go differently in the mix, that's a different type of criticism. If it's somebody that just doesn't like the genre of music that you're doing, you're never going to please them. If you're allowing people into your life that's just criticizing your music for whatever reasons, and it's invalidated, okay, it's unfounded, then you're going to find yourself trying to please these critics in order to satisfy something in your own self that doesn't really need to be satisfied. You don't want to contort your practice into somebody else's image, because if that person is a critic no matter what, first of all, you're never going to achieve the goal that you're trying to reach. Secondly, you've lost focus. You're trying to please somebody other than yourself with a craft that is 100% yours. Your music belongs to you. And as a musician, really this is my belief, as a musician should create with the desire to share a piece of themselves with the rest of the world. Music is a gift. Many professionals in the business have learned this, and that's why they're on top, and that's why they stay on top, is because they know that music is a gift that was given to them first as a musician to produce, and then secondly, a gift to those who the musician shares it with. Not everyone's going to enjoy your music, and that's just a fact. Even those who like or enjoy or love your genre of music, they're not all going to like your music. But if you try to contort your vision of your craft into the vision that other people are trying to impress upon you, then you're going to fail, because even if you come up with some awesome tracks, even if you come out with blockbuster hits, you're going to have a problem. You know what that is? You're going to be doing what other people want you to do, and you're going to lose the love that you have for your craft, and you're going to eventually just be unhappy. Now, I had a friend some years ago, a long time ago. He's passed away. But when he was around, he used to tell me how he refused to play a style of music the way that others were wanting him to do. I had a lot of respect for him because he was in a band, and the band wanted to do music that was popular. Every time the radio would play a different style of music or things would change, he would want, not he, but his band would want to follow the trends. And he would just keep telling them, look, let's stay true to who we are. Let's just stay who we are. Same thing, I read an article when AC/DC's Bon Scott passed away. They sat around, this is how the article described it. The band sat around and they were exchanging ideas of what they should do. And I can't remember which one of them said this. It may have been Malcolm. But one of the band members stood up and said, look, let's just make a rock and roll album. So what they were saying was, what this person was saying, I believe it was Malcolm Young, was let's just be true to who we are. And we can't go wrong. And I believe that that's why bands such as AC/DC are still relevant today. It's because they didn't change with the rest of the world. They remain true to who they are. So when I hear an AC/DC song on the radio, even if there's no vocals being played, I can pretty much tell that it's an AC/DC album or song, even if I hadn't heard it before. Okay? Just because I know their style and they're true to themselves. So that's the major point that I want to talk about today, is that you want to remain true to yourself in order look, you have to be happy with your music first and foremost. You have to be happy with your music. And if you're happy with your music, somebody down the line who listens to your music is going to get your angle. Somebody's going to catch it. Someone's going to say, aha, yeah, I get this guy. I get this artist. I know what he's trying to achieve. I know what he's trying to do. Now, on the other hand, if you keep changing your style of music or the way you go about doing your music, if you start second guessing yourself, if you start trying to be what your critics are trying to conform you into being, you're going to end up extremely unsuccessful in one way or the other. I'm not saying that you won't make a lot of money. I won't say that you won't make any hits. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that when you sell yourself to others through their criticism, you are bought and sold at a price. And no amount of money or success or fame is ever going to buy that back, because you have become something that is not you anymore. And you'll just be going through the motions. And that's a sad way to live. It's a sad way to live. I strongly believe that as long as you got food on the table, a roof over your head, and the bare necessities, and you're doing the things that you want to do, you're on the right track. I mean, you got to take care of your life first, right? You got to take care of those in your life. So I'm not saying to stop doing things that's bringing you income, that's feeding the mouths in your home, and supplying a roof over your head. What I'm saying is listen to the criticisms that are out there, but stop listening to them when they get to the point where they're just criticizing your art, right? So again, if it's something to do with the drums being too loud, you know, the synth part on this section is, doesn't fit just right. Maybe it's too quiet. Maybe it's too loud. Those things are tweakable. But when it comes to your art, that's exactly what art is. It's a piece of you. So I just hope that this helps you out today. And if it has, hey, that's great. Leave a comment below. Share your experiences here with us. I love to hear from you guys. I believe that we have some of the best people on this channel that come and share things with all of us. And if you haven't already done so, I want to remind you again to please subscribe. It encourages me to do these videos. Until next time, keep calm and synth on.